It's 2 a.m. You're lying in bed. The house is completely silent. Then suddenly, the power goes out. And in that exact moment, something strange happens. That corner of your room, the one you've seen 1,000 times before, suddenly feels different. Dangerous. You know there's nothing there. Logic tells you that. Your rational mind tells you that. And yet, your heart starts beating faster. Your breathing becomes heavier. And your eyes refuse to look away from the darkness. Why? Why does darkness still make millions of people uncomfortable? Why can a completely empty room feel threatening the moment the lights go out? The answer isn't weakness, and it isn't childish. Because the fear of darkness is older than civilization itself. To understand it, we need to go back hundreds of thousands of years, to a time when darkness wasn't just scary, it was deadly. Imagine East Africa, 300,000 years ago. The sun has disappeared beyond the horizon. A small group of humans sits quietly around a weak fire. There are no houses, no walls, no locks, no flashlights. Beyond the edge of the firelight lies complete darkness, and somewhere out there, something moves. A branch snaps. The sound is small, but every person around that fire immediately becomes alert. Their hearts race, their muscles tighten. Their attention locks onto the darkness, because that sound could mean death. For most of human history, humans were not the top predators. We were prey. Leopards hunted our ancestors. Lions stalked them. Hyenas followed human groups through the night. And unlike us, these predators were built for darkness. A lion can see several times better than a human at night. Leopards are even better. Their eyes contain a reflective layer that allows them to capture tiny amounts of light and turn darkness into visibility. Humans don't have that advantage. When the sun went down, our ancestors became vulnerable. The people who treated every strange sound as a possible threat were more likely to survive. The people who ignored danger often didn't. Generation after generation, natural selection rewarded caution. The humans who feared the dark lived long enough to have children. The ones who didn't often disappeared from the gene pool. That survival strategy became part of us. And even today, thousands of generations later, our brains still carry those ancient survival programs. The fear you feel in darkness isn't irrational. It's ancient. But evolution isn't the whole story. Something inside your head is actively creating that fear right now. Deep inside your brain sits a small structure called the amygdala. It's tiny, but it has one incredibly important job: keeping you alive. Think of it as your brain's alarm system. Its purpose isn't to make you happy. Its purpose isn't to help you relax. Its purpose is survival. The amygdala constantly scans for danger. The moment it detects something suspicious, it prepares your body for action. Heart rate increases, breathing changes, muscles become tense, your senses become more alert. The interesting part is what happens when darkness arrives. When visibility drops, the brain suddenly loses a huge amount of information. Humans rely heavily on vision to understand the world. Take away sight, and uncertainty explodes. And uncertainty is exactly what the amygdala hates. Because from an evolutionary perspective, uncertainty could mean danger. So when the lights go out, your brain becomes more cautious, more alert, more prepared for threats, even if there aren't any. Here's where things get fascinating. Your brain hates missing information. It constantly tries to complete the picture. During the day, that's easy. You can see everything around you. At night, it's different. Darkness removes information. Suddenly, your brain has gaps to fill. And when the brain doesn't know what's hiding in the darkness, it often chooses the safest strategy. Assume the worst. Imagine you're walking through a dark forest. You hear something moving nearby. What is it? The truth is, you don't know. But from an evolutionary perspective, assuming it's a predator is safer than assuming it's harmless. If you're wrong, you feel nervous for a few seconds. If you're wrong in the opposite direction, you might not survive. For hundreds of thousands of years, cautious humans had an advantage, and your brain still follows the same rule today. That's why shadows sometimes look like people. Why coats hanging on chairs suddenly appear threatening. Why an ordinary sound becomes suspicious in the middle of the night. Your brain isn't malfunctioning. It's trying to protect you. If fear of darkness is natural, then why are children often more afraid than adults? The answer lies in imagination. Young children are still learning how the world works. At the same time, their imagination is incredibly powerful. A child can imagine monsters under the bed, creatures in the closet, or something waiting in the hallway. And for them, those possibilities feel real. The line between imagination and reality isn't fully developed yet. But children aren't the only ones affected. Adults still experience the same process. The difference is that experience teaches us something important. Most adults have spent years turning off the lights and discovering that nothing bad happened. Over time, the brain learns. The fear becomes weaker, but it never completely disappears, because the ancient survival system underneath is still there, waiting, just in case. Most people think fear is a flaw, but fear isn't a bug, it's a feature. Imagine a smoke detector. Most of the time it does nothing. Occasionally it becomes annoying. Sometimes it even goes off when there isn't a real fire. But that's exactly how it should work, because the cost of a false alarm is small. The cost of missing a real fire is enormous. Your fear of darkness works the same way. The brain would rather create 10 unnecessary warnings than miss one genuine threat. From a survival perspective, that strategy works. And it has worked for hundreds of thousands of years, long enough to keep our species alive. So the next time the lights go out, and you feel that familiar tension, remember this. You are experiencing one of the oldest survival instincts ever created. An instinct carried by countless generations of humans who survived dangerous nights long before cities, electricity, or modern civilization existed. The darkness hasn't changed. Your brain hasn't changed. The only difference is that most of the predators are gone. But the survival system that protected your ancestors is still running, quietly, patiently, waiting. Because somewhere deep inside your mind, a part of you still remembers a world where the dark wasn't empty. It was watching back.